Okay, this is a kit build project which I'm just starting. I got this kit of bits which came in that cardboard box that you can see in the background from Banggood, and I'll put a link in the description to this little engine if you're interested in it. Basically what this is, as far as I can tell, is it is a Hero type steam engine model, but it's designed to look like a flying saucer. So I should put the instructions down here so you can have a look at them. Right, let's turn the light away a little bit so that we can actually see that. There we go. So yeah, this is what it is. So you've got all these parts, and basically what it builds up is it builds this thing. And as far as I can tell, basically you have a little burner underneath. You put water in this part. It creates steam which jets out of the side and causes the whole thing to spin, just like the Hero engine. Now, I did buy and did a video on an actual replica type Hero engine, which I also got from Banggood a while back. But this one's a little bit more complicated. There's quite a lot of parts to it. It appears you get everything you need. And I thought, well, yeah, you know, this is something to do during lockdown, and it could be quite interesting. It all appears to be metal. Even the base itself, even this is metal. So yeah, we'll let's come back out again. I'll have a go at putting this together, and I'll bring you along for the journey, and we'll see what this little engine is like. Well, according to the instructions, the first part we make is this part here. Well, you can see that, which is these parts. Well, I think that's the stand, but these parts mainly. So we'll open those out, pop them in my little tray here. That stops me from losing stuff. We also need the nuts, bolts and screws. The instructions are quite clear, actually, or at least they look to be quite clear at first perusal. All the parts are numbered, and the diagrams showing the assembly indicate the numbered parts that you need to put together. So for this first stage we need these two, and let's open this packet too, because I think the spacer is in here. Oh, I see, it's got a seal in it. There we go. Right, so that's that part, which I believe has got the bearings in it, and that simply sandwiches between those two and is held together with spacers. Oops. And nuts and bolts. Okay. Okay, so we've got these tiny little spacers here, which have to go between these two parts and the bearing mount. So this is going to be fun. I think probably the best way is to put the bolts through like this. And try and tip it up and keep all the bolts in place. And put our centerpiece in, then put our little brass spacers in place. Find the other one. Oh, there we go. And put the top piece on, like so. And get the nuts on. I can see I'm going to be losing some of these parts at some point, as they're all very small. They do give you two Allen keys, actually. This is the first one for tightening these up. I've actually got some small metric spanners, so we can hopefully do this properly. So I'm not going to put too much torque on these, because I'm sure they only need to be nipped up. See, basically a little bit more on the finger tight, really. There we go. Okay, so that's the first part done. What's next? Right, so the next, stage 2, is this part, which is basically all of the top part of the mechanism and this particular disc. So let's have a look. So we need the disc with the hole in it, or the half sphere with the hole in it. We need the safety valve. We need the fibre washer for the safety valve. Look at that. Then we need this housing here. That obviously screws into there, like that. Then there's this part. Now they show it separate, but they're showing the bearings separately, but they're already assembled, so that basically goes into there. Whoops, let's push out one of the bearings. Okay, right. So that's that part. And then we've got this ring here, which I think is 13. Let's have a look. 12, which is that ring there, which I think fits on here. Yeah, I think that's right. Was it that way around? No, I think it's that way around. Yes, that way around. Okay. So that's that assembly. Then it goes through this. Oh, that doesn't seem right. So have a further look at that. That just doesn't seem, well, it might be, but it doesn't seem right. Let's investigate further. Yeah, okay, I got it now. This collar, which goes up from the bottom here, the threaded collar, this fits into that hole perfectly, and then it will, the whole lot will screw together. Come on, there we go. Right, and that is free to rotate. Excellent. Okay, so that's that top part done. So next part is to assemble the saucer section. So for that we need all of these bits. Now I was quite intrigued as to exactly how this thing worked. I couldn't see any obvious jets, but if you look, I don't know how that's going to show up on the camera, but if you look carefully, there are some curved machined grooves, one there and then one there, which jet the steam out. It does say make sure that they're not blocked, which they're not. So basically we have one of these over there like that. Then we have the middle piece like that. Then we have the bottom, so it's creating a sandwich effectively. And then we have that goes on there, and that whole lot clamps together with these small nuts and bolts. So I'll get those nuts and bolts ready, and then we'll put it together. Okay, I've got all the nuts off of the bolts, so let's get this thing together. There are no gaskets on this, so I'm intrigued to see how well the thing actually seals. I mean, obviously the bolt spacing is, there's a lot of bolts, so I should say screws. So yeah, we'll see. This is probably going to be a little bit fiddly, so we can get one in place, and then probably one on the opposite side. Oops. Told you I was going to lose one of these nuts and bolts sooner or later. Probably the nuts. Right, so that's that. Stick one in over here. Okay, so I've just got to go around and put all these in. Right, come on. I won't bore you with putting all of those in, I'll do all that off camera. Okay, all 12 screws and nuts are in and tightened. Interesting to see how well that actually seals. So the next stage, which is 5, is fitting the adhesive feet, so individual rubber feet, to the corners of the base, like that. I'm impressed that they made the base out of, it's only a bit of folded tin plate, but it's still not the point. It's interesting that they've actually made the base out of metal, which is quite a nice touch, I think. So we stick those 4 self-adhesive rubber feet on like that. Job done. Next up, it's, see that, the mounting post and the burner. So we've got, there's the mounting post. And we have some screws to hold that in place and a washer. There we go. So that comes up from the bottom. And despite the fact that there are only 2 of these larger Allen-headed screws, they do provide an Allen key for those too, which is, I think, pretty impressive. So I'll tighten that up. Oh, and I've already missed, look, I've already gone wrong there, not paying attention. There is a brass sort of ferrule which goes on the bottom of the post. It's decorative, I would imagine. But of course, it will raise the post up significantly. Well, a small amount. So that goes on there like that. Then that goes on there like that. Right. Right, there we go. The little metho pot, or methylated spirit burner here, has a magnet in the bottom. So that's quite a nice touch. Feed the wick through. This goes in there like that. That's our burner. Next up is fixing this onto the top. And there is a brass bushing that goes in there. Like that. And then our screw goes through. Tighten that up. Get this thing central as possible. I would assume that's what they want. Definitely don't like that Allen key. Alright, well, I think that's basically it. I think there you go. So you, obviously the safety pressure release valve is also the filler plug. So you take that out and it says open safety valve and inject about 10 millilitres of purified water. And that's it really. That's all there is to it. Okay, let's now we build it, let's get this thing going. Right, well, it is a light, believe it or not. Not quite sure how long to make the wick, but so there's only 10 millilitres of water in there, which is a very small amount, so it shouldn't take long to heat up. Let's find one of the jets. Right. Okay, so I'm going to zoom in and see whether you can see the jet. I'll get my pointy stick. The actual jet exhaust is just this one anyway, is just there. That's where the steam's going to come out, and there's another one diametrically opposite that. So let's see what this little baby will do. I do like the fact that there is a magnet on the burner. That stops the burner from slipping around on the base, which is quite a nice little touch. So I guess we just got to wait and see now. Well, looks like we've got some steam coming out of both ports. See there and there. Don't know whether this thing will be self-starting or whether I'm going to actually have to give it a push, but no, it's going to go on its own, I think. I think it's going to go on its own. Yes, it is. Wow, look at that. Well, that's quite, I quite like that. That's quite an impressive little engine. A fairly quick build, fairly simple. In theory, you could do it with just the Allen keys that come with the kit, but it's useful to have a spanner for the nuts. It's picking up some speed now. Yes, I'm well impressed with that. As I said, I'll put a link in the description to this engine. It came from Banggood. It wasn't very expensive. It's a very nice kit, very well made. Lovely bearings for the top there. As I say, it's pretty much, it's all metal really, apart from the feet. No, very, very nice. So there you go, little UFO Hero engine from Banggood. Comes as a kit. You saw me put it together. Dead simple. And a lot of fun too. As I said, there's only 10 millilitres of water in there, so obviously it's not going to run for too long, but I'm quite impressed with that. Well, I guess that about wraps it up for the Hero engine. I hope you enjoyed this little video, and thank you very much for watching. Cheers!